podcast is proudly sponsored by Philips OLED Plus Ambilight TV. OLED Plus is the name given to the multi-award-winning combination of the latest and best OLED panel technology, enhanced Philips P5 dual-engine picture processing, the next generation of Philips Ambilight, plus superb sound by Bowers & Wilkins. Philips OLED Plus delivers the best TV picture and sound quality as an immersive performance unmatched in the premium TV market. Discover more at www.philips.com/OLED.
Hello and welcome to the AV Forums Movies Podcast for Monday, the 28th of November. Tonight, I'm joined by Tom Davies.
Hi, it's me.
Simon Crust.
Good afternoon, good evening, hello, welcome, and a special welcome to our audio-only listeners whom we are going to be very, very inclusive of tonight.
And Mark Costello.
Hi, it's not me.
Mark's waving at the moment.
Sorry. I should have put the hard of hearing subtitles on.
We can do the subtitles. As we get into the festive spirit for the holiday season, or
ho, ho, ho.
I'm the only one with a tree up, I think. We're going to check out Marvel's Christmas special from the Guardians of the Galaxy, see what's going on at the cinema on the run-up to, I'm going to say it, Ava 2, and Disney's Strange World, James Gray's Armageddon Time, bones and all in the menu. On the 4K front, we're also equally stacked. We've got Studio Canal's The Driver, Arrow's Croupier, Studio Canal's Kong 676, Eureka's Cabernet of Dr. Caligari, as well as Arrow's Silent Running. And
well done, Kaz. Well done.
I know. They're all due December. And on the TV front, Apple's Echo 3, Tim Burton's Wednesday, Netflix's 1899, and possibly one of the best TV series of 22, Hugo Blick's The English.
So buckle in for the next 12 hours, everyone.
You wish, Tom, you wish.
And nothing better to do.
But first, Mark's going to tell us about competitions.
Yes, I am. Current competitions. The list is nigh on endless. You can win a Scalextric 1980s TV Back to the Future versus Knight Rider set. Oh my lord, worth £160. A copy of The Fall on Blu-ray, a Star Supporter copy of Reservoir Dogs on the most ugliest limited edition 4K steelbook ever made, a supporter copy of Cask Door on 4K, a Star Supporter copy of The Trial on 4K, a Very British Scandal on Blu-ray, 2 Wendy Toy 4K restorations on Blu-ray, which are both very good. Bodies on Blu-ray. Supporter exclusive competitions for Picard Season 2 on limited edition Steelbook. I gotta take a breath. Halo Season 1 on limited edition 4K Steelbook. Revenge on Blu-ray and Boiling Point on limited edition Blu-ray. As well as Criterion's November titles on Blu-ray and Orphan First Kill on 4K. Maverick on 4K in a limited edition bundle. I think that's Top Gun Maverick and not the slightly better Mel Gibson Western film. And Bullet Train on 4K. We're already drawing 10 competitions on Christmas Day. Are you kidding me, Kaz?
It's actually 11 now.
Oh, my good grief. And any future competitions over the next couple of weeks will be drawn then too. So hopefully there'll be quite a few people getting happy surprises over the holidays. So as ever, head your little fingers and eyes over to avforums.com/competitions to enter. All competitions are open to eligible AV Forums members resident in the UK.
Boom, nice work.
Very nice.
It's a bumper
done.
Christmas stock. Yeah,
Excellent.
We got plenty more coming in. Let's see, previous winners. Bopper 1 won The Secrets She Keeps Series 2 on DVD. Bob Biscuit won This Is Guar on Blu-ray.
Excellent.
Tarn68 won Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind on Blu-ray, and Bakey won Brian and Charles on Blu-ray. Clunk won the podcast exclusive The Batman on Blu-ray. Tux 1977 won the podcast exclusive The Firm on Blu-ray. Supporter George L78 won The Scary of 61st on Blu-ray. Supporter Nathan won Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons on Blu-ray. Supporter Fleaman 101 won The Spine of Night on Blu-ray. And supporter Sleepy 1 won Censor on Blu-ray. Star supporter Academic Barzo won Criterion's October titles on Blu-ray.
Nice.
Star supporter Paolo Favina won The Witch on Blu-ray, on 4K.
Nice.
Star supporter Sam V 2001 won a Banquet on limited edition Blu-ray.
Wonderful. Well done, all.
Done.
And I think I've just added a Blu-ray competition for The Driver too, which we'll be talking about shortly.
Excellent.
But movies. Right, Wakanda's going strong, and I think it's going to go strong all the way through till Avatar, I guess. Although it seems not quite as strong as they'd anticipated. I don't think it's going to top Top Gun. But there are a few smaller films that Tom has been busy beavering and seeing, and they've been pretty good. Tom, you saw Bones and All and The Menu.
Did I?
Yes.
They were
He
probably
slept
quite
since-
good.
He slept since then, Kaz.
They were pretty good.
They were both good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which one to talk about first. I guess I'll talk about The Menu first, because I think The Menu is probably it's really dumb to talk about it in relative terms, but the weaker of the two. It's still really good. The Menu's great. It's a vehicle for Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and Ralph Fiennes to just do some like dinner theatre, and that's pretty much all it is. It's a send up of fine dining crossed with a sort of, I don't want to spoil it, but there is a horror twist to it, and it's really fun and it's really funny, and all of the sorts of complaints to level at it revolve around it being what it is. So essentially, it's a satire of the deification of dining, I suppose, and of celebrity chefs. And it just takes pot shots at the upper classes and the super rich, and that's all it does. But it does it really, really well. The script is really sharp. There are some really dark and unexpected turns to it that are quite pleasing. I'm a psychopath.
Madman.
And it rattles along really well. It does exactly what you would expect it to, and it does it really efficiently. It looks great. It sounds great. It's just thoroughly recommend. Go and see it at the cinema. If big blockbusters are not your thing, this is a great thing to go and see. Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds like the grand booth for the 21st century.
It does sound great. I have to say, it reminds me of the Ben and Holly episodes where they have like this posh king and queen come round, and Nanny Plum has to make a really posh dinner, and she makes this amazing stew and then captures just the steam from it and puts the steam in bowls and gives it to them, and they all sit around a table talking about how amazing this steam is, and then eventually they realize it's not very filling, and they all go and eat the stew in the kitchen afterwards.
I cannot wait for your Ben and Holly spin-off podcast.
I love Ben and Holly.
It does sound really good. I've been looking forward to The Menu for ages. I've been looking forward to both of these. Both The Menu and Bones and all have been on my radar.
Yeah, it's really good. Essentially, Anya Taylor-Joy is the date of Nicholas Hoult, who is a real foodie and has booked into the restaurant of this super high level Michelin-starred chef. And she's not into it, but he's super into it. And as the meal progresses, they do a really fun thing, which is like they combine the like tropes of cooking shows. So they do really like graceful pans around the food with little subtitles telling you exactly what's in it. You know, a foam of whatever the ingredient was. I can't remember. Anyway, it's really good, and it is all taking the piss out of that sort of thing until it becomes really gruesome and dark, and then it becomes a bit like it broadens its scope a bit, not just to the super rich, but also to people who like base their identities around what other people think, and that works. It's really really enjoyable. So yeah.
Do they stuff and eat Greg Wallace at all?
that would be.
They're saving it for the
good
sequel.
Surely.
But
Saving
no.
it for the sequel.
Yeah, I've seen Greg Wallace since. I think he's okay.
And Bones and All is also about food.
It's about fine dining. Yeah, Bones and All. So Bones and All, I would say this month, my favorite film this month. It was really, really good. It is not perfect, but it just does some interesting things. It's essentially like an outlaw road movie. So like, if you think about stuff like True Romance and Badlands and Bonnie and Clyde, and it takes all of those, what was the other one sort of semi-recently, Queen and Slim, it takes all of those like tropes and combines it with like, I want to say it's like the vampire myth, but instead of drinking blood, it is full-on cannibalism. And it is really, really good. Taylor Russell is the lead in it, and she does a stunning job of portraying like the conflict of not discovering that she's a cannibal because she already knows that she needs human flesh to survive, but the discovery of how you incorporate that into your daily life. And she does that with the help of Timothée Chalamet, who plays Lee, who is this guy who's basically just, he's only a little bit older than her and has just accepted what he is and is much more comfortable in that moral grey area. And it's about the two of them feeling their way into cannibalism and being okay with it and making it work in like a moral and ethical way sometimes, but not always. And it takes on the sorts of metaphors that you would expect. So, you know, like forbidden passions, addictions, I guess, homelessness, coming of age. It goes through all of those almost boxes to tick, but it melds them together so well that it becomes a whole that is really satisfying to watch and to experience with the characters, to the extent that you can watch them performing these horrific acts, and they are graphically violent. It's pretty extreme on occasion, but you still feel for them and you are still on their side, and it is still kind of romantic. And that is the strength of the film, and it's also kind of its downfall, because along the way there's a really interesting story to tell about finding your own moral compass and being swayed by the people who teach you or the people who have like that mentor presence in your life. And it takes some really interesting looks at how your friends influence you, how the older generation influences you, how your own identity sort of comes out. And then it kind of stops doing that with the last act and instead turns into just, well, these two are in love and therefore whatever they do is right, which feels kind of like a cop-out when it sets up so nicely the fact that the two of them could be pure evil. They could go down the route of moral oblivion, and the movie like steps back from that, which I think is a real shame. It doesn't end badly. The ending is not bad. It's satisfying. It wraps things up sort of a bit too neatly maybe, but it just doesn't, it's just not as daring as the first hour or so would have you expect, which is a real shame, because other than that, I can't really fault it. It's a Luca Guadagnino film, and I have been practicing that pronunciation. So Luca, I hope you're listening.
Effortless.
It was, wasn't it? It's like he's my best friend.
Yeah.
And it shares a lot of things in common. If you've watched his other films, like if you've watched Call Me by Your Name, or any of his other Desire movies, or even if you've seen his remake of Suspiria, you will see a really clear through line of his I don't want to get too poncy, but like his artistic eye, his directorial style is really clear, and his style seems to be like make it look beautiful, make it look incredible to watch, regardless of what is going on screen, and it is just a real feast.
Nice.
I really, really recommend it, because even though it's not perfect, it is as near as damn it. It's a really good movie.
So 4 out of 10 then, Tom.
Ha!
4 out of 10.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw a film that you were gonna cover, which is James Gray's latest.
Are you trying to say that I copped out of a movie?
No, didn't get around to it.
Disgraceful behavior,
And
Davies.
elected instead to go and see Bones and All, which I'm very glad you did, and you're probably very glad you did.
I'm very glad I did as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So I saw Armageddon Time. James Gray's just given us Ad Astra, but he's gone through a bunch of similarly low-key films before going big with Brad Pitt and space. He started off with Little Odessa, and then he did The Yards, and he did We Own the Night, which I happen to really like. And he did a few others. I think that he does low-key family trouble really well. Sticks to New York. He's in Queens this time. And this is semi-autobiographical, and you can see a lot of him in it. This kid who's a little bit different, who is an artist essentially, and is growing up with a family who are coming to terms with the fact that he doesn't really want to focus on his studies, and acts out a little bit as a result. And a lot of family baggage which come from them being immigrants who fought to get to where they've got in America, and who are constantly dealing with prejudice to the point of changing names. And I enjoyed it. It's low key, and people should expect that. It's more of it's a semi-autobiography, but it's more of like a diary brought to life. And he's done really well keeping it natural and normal. The standout for me was Anthony Hopkins. I mean, as if he's never not the standout, but he is just at once the best granddad anyone in the world could ever hope for, whilst also being, strangely, a very convincing real granddad. So he's not like a superhero, but he's just like a normal granddad, except everything he says is just a snapshot of the things that you'd want a perfect granddad to say, or parental figure. He always comes up with, in the snapshots of time he has with his grandkids, he always comes up with just the right thing to say. And it's not always, you're amazing. It's always like a life lesson which that kid is going to hold on to and is going to run with. I think Hopkins is just legendary in it. It's worth seeing almost just for him, and I'd be very surprised if they didn't give him an Oscar nod just based on what is essentially an extended cameo. They'll slap it down as a supporting role. Anyway, Armageddon Time, ridiculous title, but it's I recommend that.
Excellent.
Let's talk about something we're all going to maybe argue about. Have you seen it, Simon? Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special?
Oh, what a pile of crap.
What a pile of crap.
So, this is what happened. James Gunn decided that he really liked the Star Wars Holiday Special. And he went, I know what people would really like. They'd really like me to do a holiday special, just like the Star Wars Holiday Special, except with the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what a real kind of mid-range Phase 4 needs to bookend it.
And I'm friends with a slightly shit band, so maybe I'll get them to do a couple of musical numbers.
Yeah, and get the runtime up a bit. I mean,
Jesus.
For me, it felt like a glorified one-shot. I will say, I was in the festive spirit, and it was fun with having some kind of really low-key outtake style hijinks with a couple of the Guardians.
Disagree.
Okay, yeah, fair. I didn't mind. kids didn't mind it. It was what it was, but it was utterly inconsequential, and it could have been a one-shot slapped on the Guardians 3 disc, and no one would have even batted an eyelid. I think they padded it out with too much music, and I think that it felt very, very cheap TV at times. And I really struggled with how the other Guardians, other than the two main characters they focus on, which is Drax and Mantis, who I like, the other Guardians didn't really seem to be in for the gag. Pratt in particular, I found him just not reacting to anything the way I expected him to, particularly towards the end. It was like his break from filming Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and they were like, can you come and join and just go on the set for this and look amazed? And he's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, good. Wow. Oh, wow. And it just didn't seem like he was on board in the way that the others were, because Drax and Mantis were game for it. And I think it's just Kevin Bacon.
If you see it in the right light, I guess, yeah, but it was not good.
I feel like it was, when I watched it, what I came away thinking was that it was the most producty thing that the MCU has ever produced. It was the most obvious, like, content for the sake of content. Like, I by the end of it, I couldn't work out why they had made it. Like, honestly, I couldn't work out, like, well, they're not earning any money from it. No one's subscribing to Disney Plus just to watch this. Like, I famously absolutely love Christmas, and I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies as well. I really like the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I understand some people think is not as good as the first one, but I think is great.
It's better.
Yeah, maybe.
It's better.
And I like Drax, and I like Mantis, yet for 35 minutes, I was bored shitless. And it was like watching an Amdram production, you know, like, it was like watching teenagers do their impression of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was cringing all the way through.
You just hate Kevin Bacon, that's all it is.
Do you know what? I think Kevin Bacon's great. And he was watching Santa Claus versus the Martians. That gets a big tick. Boy, oh boy. James Gunn, nice one. Appreciation for Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. And the soundtrack was also killer, including Smashing Pumpkins' Christmas song, which is on my Christmas list every year, and the Julian Casablancas cover of Wish It Was Christmas Today, which is also brilliant. Other than that,
you've got Mark behind you biting his tongue. There's blood right now.
Mark, Ghostbusters Afterlife is a 9. Costello.
That's right. So you've all missed the point completely. You know how long it takes to put up your Christmas tree? It takes 44 minutes to put up your Christmas tree. Right? That is what that entire thing was designed for.
44 minutes to put up your Christmas tree?
Yes.
You don't have a 3-year-old, do you?
No. So the whole point is, it is nothing. It is not to be considered canon whatsoever to anything. It is designed to be put on in the background while the Baileys are drunk, the baubles are hanging. That's why there's all those crappy songs on the side. You don't need to watch any of that stuff. And occasionally, if you have a glance over, you'll see Drax and Mantis doing something mildly amusing. But that is literally it. That's what it was designed for. And
literal background view.
Yes,
you're trying to celebrate it.
Absolutely. And I was slouched on the sofa yesterday, cream crackered after a weekend watching sport. I'd been berating various people, including Kaz, for putting their Christmas tree up in November. Because it's November. And I was the most grinchy I could ever be. And pressed play on that. And 44 minutes later, I was halfway up the stairs ready to get my tree out the loft. I tell you. It is utterly inconsequential. I am not going to deny anything that you've said, but I think its purpose is solely it's the equivalent of an MCU bauble to just stick on your tree. That's what it is. Why did James Gunn do it? Because he just thought, I can do it. Why not? There is not a Marvel Christmas thing. Why not? So I take it.
All of that sounds terrible.
Not at all. So I do not disagree with any of the critical the critical bombs that have been dropped in its general direction. But for me, it just got me in the Christmas spirit. And for that, perfect.
Oh my God, this last 4 minutes has made me laugh more than that.
It was the capstone of the grave that is phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's pretty much it.
Oh, bar humbug, you swines.
I love Christmas. I can't wait to get
put my tree up.
I've got my Christmas jumper on. I'm in the spirit.
Yeah,
Christmas doesn't like you, Tom.
I got my Christmas jacket on.
Christmas can get in the frigging queue.
Right. Let's do some 4K. This is probably one of our last shots at running through some 4K discs, so we're going to do a huge bumper batch and basically everything that we got lined up for December. And we're going to start with Simon, who's got two classics.
I do.
Eureka's Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Now, this is the film that Nick Cage waxes lyrical about in Many Faces of Nicolas Cage, aka Unbearable Weight of Greatest Talent.
Okay, I've not seen that one, but I have seen Caligari. It's an awesome film, horror, mystical, expressionism. All those types of cinema can be traced back to Caligari. It's an incredible film. German expressionism is over 100 years old, 101 years old. And it's as watchable now as it was back then. It tells the story of a guy. It opens with a guy telling a story to someone else about this horror that has happened to him, about a doctor that is walking around with a sleeping corpse that tells the future. And this sleeping corpse supposedly goes around killing people. And it turns out that maybe this is all a delusion. But it might not be. It might all be the truth. And Caligari and the psychiatrist of the asylum are one and the same person. It's a delicious story told in 77 minutes, and it's absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't seen it, you ought. And this is probably the best way to see it. The 4K disc from Eureka is based off the 2014 restoration that was done in Germany. Now, Eureka released that disc then on Blu-ray. It's on site. I reviewed it then, and even looking at that Blu-ray, it's a fantastic print. And all they've done for this release is release it in the native 4K. It was scanned in 4K in 2014, and it's been released on 4K in native 4K. There is no HDR on it. So that's not precedent. You know, there are other films that have been released as such. You know, the Sergio Leone's Spaghetti trilogy. Each of those have got no HDR, as has the Circus de la whatever it is that you reviewed, Mark. That too doesn't have HDR on it. Yes. And you posit the question in that review: is it worth it when the Blu-ray is so good? And it's a good question to ask, actually. As for this Eureka release, there are a couple of extras, new extras that they've put on it, and to see it in native 4K as opposed to downscaled to 1080, I think it makes a difference. I do. I'm not sure an HDR or Dolby Vision Pass would have done to it. I mean, let's face it, the film was 100 years old. It's never going to look any better than it is in 4K, and just giving it, you know, because it's not black and white. It's tinted. Like most of the films in that era were actually tinted. They weren't black and white. So all you're going to do is push the colours further, and I don't think that is going to actually add anything to the film, personally. But it looks magnificent. It really does. Better than the Blu-ray. Sound is okay. So that that's right. There's 2 soundtracks on it.
Is there more than one composition on it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, there is. There is the 2014 music.
The Jeff Beal one.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
2. That was stereo and 5.1, and there's a new composition dubbed the 2019, which is only stereo. Both very different. I actually preferred, of the 2, the 2014 version in its 5.1, guys. I thought it had very good depth and separation. I thought it was really good, better than the stereo. The 2019 one is, you could argue, is slightly more, it's more percussive. So there's more sort of weird and wonderful sounds as opposed to being more musical. Does that make sense? So some people may feel it's a bit more atmospheric. I prefer the music personally. And there's a few new extras on it as well. So an all-round terrific disc, actually. I think there's a special release with it as well, with a big thick book, which I wasn't privy to.
Ooh, a book.
A big book. I know.
An art card.
Paper tat.
Yeah, it's very good. Yes, I very much enjoyed that, and would recommend a buy on that one, actually.
Pre-order locked in.
I think I ended the review, which incidentally is on early access. It's on site now for those who have early access. You can read it. I think I end the review by saying it does just enough to make the upgrade worth it. I really
Cool.
do.
Excellent.
I will be having that. That sounds great.
Mhm.
Nice.
Love that film.
And how did you
we going
find returning to Silent Running?
Silent Running. Ah, okay.
Because I wonder, I have to ask this.
Go on.
Before you rewatched it,
Mhm.
did you hold it like I do as being like an all-time classic?
Isn't it a funny thing? Now, it's very, very easy to get behind Silent Running, isn't it? It's got that wonderful message, that wonderful eco message, saving the environment by taking all the plants and lifting them off into space so you can repopulate the planet afterwards. And then who isn't going to want to save the last biodome that the greedy corporations just want to detonate off into space? I mean, it's very, very simple and easy to get behind that, isn't it? That super message.
And it's got Bruce Dern, it's got Douglas
Bruce
Trump,
Dern, it's
Joan Baez's soundtrack. Come on.
Absolutely.
But
It's the
interestingly,
music.
And
It's-
Doug Trumble,
Yeah,
perfecting
effects.
everything that he'd done.
Yeah, effects.
Themes
Win,
like-
win, 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 win,
Absolutely.
win, win.
it didn't work as well on a
Yeah.
rewatch.
But weirdly, it's not really a very good film.
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's, but it's not.
Oh,
I mean,
to pick
it
it
is
up and
absolutely iconic, and it stands head and right up there with a lot of the greats, but it doesn't quite get that absolute.
Bruce
genius,
Dern's
does
haircut is after you. It's after you.
those little robots.
I don't
are-
know. It's just a little bit dull and a little bit long, even at 90 minutes. A little bit drony, even though there's so much in it that is fantastic. You said it all: the cinematography, the model work, the little Huey and Dewey, the robot drones, the performances, the sets, everything about it is fantastic.
All gonna have to watch it over Christmas, aren't we?
Oh my God,
But
quick.
I don't
I
know.
need a folk song. Someone
But
give
I
me a
don't know.
folk song to wash the taste of Crust's
Yes.
verbal rantings out of my ears.
Drink some powdered broccoli. So tell me about the disc.
The disc is so this is it's been treated really well on disc in the past. Actually, both Eureka and Arrow have had it in the past, and this is a brand new 4K scan from the original camera negative, according to the blurb that I received. And I believe it. Actually, it looks very, very good. It's in Dolby Vision. It was always nicely well detailed, and it is even better detailed. You don't miss a thing. It's absolutely pristine. fantastic HDR pass, giving it some real richness to the colors. You know, the spacesuits they wear, the colors, the explosion, the brightness, the darkness, everything about it is really, really good. Very, very impressive pass. The soundtrack on it is it's a DTS HD MA mono track, single speaker, which I think has been on just about every release that's ever been released on it. It's always been the same track. Bizarrely, they've never thought to upgrade it, even though if you read around it, it was released on 72mm with a six track music when it was first released. So why they can't somehow, I don't know, remix that into a 5.1, I don't know, but it's never been done. Anyway, the music, the soundtrack is good. If you've seen the film on Blu-ray, then you're going to hear you've heard what the soundtrack's like. It's clear, it's very, very nice, and there's a whole bunch of extras on it as well, old stuff and new stuff. There's a book in it, and the limited edition pass. It's probably worth a purchase. I would say certainly if you've never seen it, it's the best way to buy it. Absolutely.
Well,
even if you don't like the film.
I mean, I'm gonna have to.
Even if you don't like the film,
I'm gonna have to just to see if there's any truth in revisiting Silent Running. And I mean, we're all shaking our heads at this.
Words are failing.
I feel like he's just trying to make us buy it.
I've seen it in the last 12 months, and it is brilliant. So, what the hell?
I won't buy it then. So, Mark has got a more controversial release on his hands, and it's a film he also doesn't really rate. Is this true?
Well, to be fair,
maybe no.
Well, to be fair, King Kong 76. I have never seen it.
Oh dear.
What?
Why would I want to? Why would I want to see it? Anyway, I do indeed have the new 4K release from Studio Canal. Yeah. I will not give you a full and in-depth review because I'm only halfway through it. However, there's only one thing we all want to know about with regard to a Studio Canal 4K, and it's...
Is it teal?
How much piss have they poured over the image? It's literally, that's the question. And in this case, the answer is, unfortunately, a little bit.
No.
So having never seen it before, I've never owned a previous release. So I don't know what the color was like on those previous gradings, but helpfully, during the first part of the film, there's lots of sailors in pristine white outfits. So you have an idea of what white should look like. And in some cases, it looks white. And in some cases, it doesn't. There is indeed a splash of teal here, a dash of urine there. It's not as bad as Cat's Eye. It's certainly not as bad as Red Sonja.
Oh God, it's terrible when we have to do a list of not as bad as.
I know. But I mean, there are people out there who will go, "Oh, come on, every color grade is revisionist." Blah blah blah. What about the rest of it? What about the detail? The detail is fantastic. What about the grain? The grain looks lovely. All round, it is a very, very nicely watchable disc. How much this new color grade will offend you will depend on how many times you've seen it before and how much of a fan you are. I will carry on. Obviously, I will persevere and I will see if it continues. I believe the latter half of the film is set mostly at night. So the color grading may not be as egregious to those scenes. But for anyone who was wondering, for anyone who's locked in a pre-order, unfortunately, it has been dashed with the same teal and yellow brush. So your mileage may vary as to whether or not you want to keep that pre-order or you want to wait for more of the reviews to come out. But there you go.
Thing is, right, like, I don't want to make any enemy. Oh, no.
Don't make any enemies. Because like I did Studio Canal. I did a Studio Canal disc, and I think it looks fantastic.
But it's correct me if I'm wrong, but it is no one's favorite version of King Kong, right?
Yes.
There's no one is aching for this version of King Kong. Like, I've seen people defend Peter Jackson's version to the hilt, which I find a little bit weird, but
I kind of grew up with this version of King Kong.
this version,
Yeah.
the rubbish version.
That says so much,
I grew
Kaz.
up with
That
this version of King
explains
Kong.
everything.
Yeah.
I just like this. This is, if I was going to buy King Kong, I would buy it once, and this would not be the one that I buy.
Yeah, I never really liked Jackson's King Kong.
No, I agree.
Grew up with
Jackson's
this
King Kong is overlong and a bit dumb. You would buy the proper version of King Kong.
I mean, I know you say that, but if you grew up with this one, anyway, yes. I also grew up with Roger Moore. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but
This
but everyone
explains
knows Roger
so
Moore is the
much.
best Bond. Everyone knows that, Kaz.
Nobody knows that.
Everyone
Nobody knows that.
wise, but as well as being wise, I'm a master of disguise.
So I know this is the last
Kaz is
movie
Hoot Owl.
podcast of the year, but we could actually all properly fall out here live.
It's going to happen.
What
That
about
would be
Bond?
awesome.
No,
This
save it
is
for
this is
23.
the end of the movie review team.
Aaron Taylor Johnson has just been pegged for being the new Bond. I'd love it.
I see. If you'd ended that sentence with just being pegged, then I might be interested.
I got time for him. From
Dread to think what picture Stuart's going to put up for that.
I've watched a good. Hey, breaking news! I watched a good Studio Canal disc. Okay?
Which was that, Kaz?
Yeah, exactly. I can't name their other also good disc, but I would like to say that this is a good one. The Driver.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that is a goodie.
I reviewed it and I talked about how not many people have seen it, and it's confirmed not many people have seen it. I was
It's a great
thinking
film.
maybe I'm being deeply patronizing here. Maybe everybody has seen it, but no. Clearly, the people who designed the box cover and the steelbook art have seen Drive, which is like, because Drive was heavily inspired by this tale of Ryan O'Neill's almost dialogueless getaway driver who gets into trouble with some criminals and is on the run from the law. And it's scripted minimalistically, let's say, by Walter Hill. It was originally written for Steve McQueen, but McQueen didn't want to do another Getaway. Ironically, Hill had input on the Getaway script, so he was that close to getting him on board for this. But McQueen was like, "I've done my, driving," and we have Ryan O'Neill in one of his coolest roles. We have Walter Hill really nailing down his kind of precision efficiency. It's a very nice little getaway driving movie. I've got a lot of time for it. It's got a fabulous scene where he shows his skills at driving by basically destroying a Mercedes in a car park, like precision destroying, taking off the mirrors one by driving past. I mean, it's glorious to just watch. It's ludicrous, but glorious to watch. Studio Canal have done a top job. I think that they've done a new scan from the 35mm OCN. It's been supervised by Hill, although we all know that director sign-offs probably become pretty cheap these days. It's been lovingly restored. I think it looks fabulous. They pulled out a lot of detail, but not without leaving a nice level of filmic grain behind it. Dolby Vision, which I was, a tad surprised about, but the HDR and WCG they look great, and it's there's some nice pop to kind of the neons and the lights at night and the police flashing lights.
We have to be nice to Studio Canal in case somebody from their team is willing to come on the podcast and talk to us about their process.
Yeah. Yes, tell us about your favorite discs.
Total Recall was okay. Good job on making that okay.
DTS HD, Master of 5.1 track.
Sorry, excuse me.
And a few new extras, a new interview with Walter Hill, a masterclass with him as well, and the original deleted alternate opening. I think it's a great little set. I think it's a great little movie. And if you like Drive and like things like Friedkin's To Live and Die in LA and all that era, and you haven't seen it, which I would be surprised about, then I would Okay, not that surprised. I would recommend watching it or entering
Absolutely.
the competition for it. Check it out.
Can I win the competition,
excellent.
please? Because I've not seen it.
Sure,
Excellent.
I'll keep it in mind. Yes.
Thank you.
So long as you don't move your body when I say that the next title I'm going to review is Arrow's Croupier 4K.
Lord Miller's Croupier.
I don't know.
So
For those of you listening only, you've missed nothing. It's a rubbish Tom
just,
Davies sight gag, which frankly I don't even get anyway. I don't even know what that is, Tom.
it's a croupier. It's a guy in a croupier. It's a Lord
missed.
croupier.
You've missed the Peter Serafinowicz sketch show. Go watch that instead of Croupier.
I will do. I've never seen Croupier either. I'm just going to go watch football for this bit.
Croupier. Mike Hodges. He had a storming bow with Get Carter back in the day, and then didn't do a great deal more. He did a few films. He did Pulp, Terminal Man, and Morons from Outer Space. He did Flash Gordon, which was his kind of biggest movie.
He didn't do much. And then you drop Flash Gordon in.
Yeah, I know, but
we're going to have a fallout, Harlow.
Well,
we're going to have a fallout.
Really, did he? In the grand scheme of his career, it kind of blipped and popped along. And Flash was not exactly well received at the time, despite how much we love it now.
Flash is a cinematic mic drop. Quite rightly, he's got, I've done Flash Gordon, boom.
Okay.
That's it.
He did Get Carter, boom.
Yeah.
That.
Well,
anyway,
yes.
He also got Mickey Rourke to be Irish.
And he thought this could be better if Sylvester Stallone was in
it. He returned in the late end of his career with 2 Clive Owen movies. I say the late end. It's not the end, but the last 2 features he did were a couple of Clive Owen films. And the first was this, Croupier, which is almost TV movie level in terms of scale, but with Hodges giving it kind of a nice eye for directorial flair that takes it that cut above. I mean, it is small in scale. It's set essentially inside a casino, and it's Clive Owen, very young, narrating his way through this twisty tale of a writer who wants to get more of a flavor for the characters he's writing, so he goes and becomes a croupier. And he finds that the character he writes about, who's a bit of a daredevil and slightly with criminal tendencies and psychotic tendencies, is not him, but he likes him so much he starts acting like him. And so the study becomes this study of 2 different people, and you never quite know which version of Clive Owen's character you're getting, nor do the people in his life, his girlfriend, the people he meets at work. It's very nicely done. I think Clive Owen, very young Clive Owen, I think he was tremendous in it. And I think it shows a real return to form for Hodges, that neo-noir sort of dark style to it. For those who haven't seen it, you should check it out. And this Arrow release is tremendous. I mean, it's 4K Dolby Vision. They cleaned it up. I mean, it's a $3 million budget film, and it looks fabulous. They've really made it look as big and grand and filmic as it could possibly be for a film 498 flick with a 12-year-old Clive Owen in it.
Clive Owen was great until 2006?
Don't you dare say shoot 'em up.
No, that's the cutoff point.
That's all right then.
That's the cut. Shoot 'em up is the cutoff
We
point.
can be friends, Tom.
He was
we
great.
can be friends.
And I don't know why he missed out on Bond, because I think he would have made for a great Bond back in the day.
He's too short.
I'm not really sure that's true. But anyway, it's got.
I'd love to see the relative height of different Bond.
DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 track and a whole pack of extras, a new commentary by a film critic that possibly no one is going to want the opinion of, and an archive commentary from the director. New interviews about the making of it, new interviews with the one of the lead actresses in it, some archival interviews with the director, and a dedicated Blu-ray disc, which Arrow, I don't think always does, because they don't include the Blu-ray of the film in most of their releases, but they have included a Blu-ray here of just extras. So that's got a fat documentary on it. And of course, a massive package that we seldom get our hands on. This one comes with booklet and a poster and a reversible sleeve.
Paper tat.
Yes.
And this is early access as well, is it?
It is. This is live if you can find it. It's This is. Oh no, it isn't live.
I think
you're
it's
right.
on
That's early access. Driver that's live if you can find it. But yeah, they'll go live this week in advance of next week's release date.
It sounds.
Brosnan was a centimetre shorter than Lazenby. Did you know that?
It sounds ace, Kaz, but I do take you to task because I mean, I for one can't wait to hear the inane ramblings of so-called critics who think people give a rat's ass about what they have to say.
Based.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes. This is perfectly true. Yeah. Yep.
Truth pilled.
Those critics are amazing. They're my favourites.
Do you listen to the critic commentaries?
No. I don't listen to any commentaries. I don't have time.
Just checking there.
Well, it depends. No, I don't listen to them.
Okay. Upcoming on 4K, we've got Shout's Magnificent 7, Kino's Italian Job, Criterion's Three Colors trilogy, Warner's Rocky releases, MVD's Rain Man, Paramount's Deep Impact, UK releases of The Last Emperor and the Sisters Brothers from Arrow, Martin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's not in the same movie. From Second Sight, Tail End of 22 gives us Medium Rare's first ever 4K The Cursed, which we're hoping to get a hold of.
Oh, is that
an excellent film?
I watched that over the weekend.
Yeah, so that's coming. That's coming. But for me, my best news was that 88's Films Miami Vice, which is going to be a Blu-ray set, and everyone booed and mowed about it, is going to be 4K.
Whoa.
So,
I mean,
looking forward to Michael Mann's. No, don't say it.
Are we going to say that Miami Vice is top 5 Michael Mann?
Yes.
Well, they're only like
I agree.
Michael Mann.
No.
Easily.
Okay, fine.
It is.
But
it is.
Better than people remember, right?
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Being very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good. And people don't like it. People are wrong.
Because
they're silly.
When I first watched it, I found it very difficult because it throws you right into what it feels like the middle of 3 episodes of Miami Vice. It hasn't got the introduction and it doesn't have an end. It just slaps you straight into the middle of an ongoing undercover investigation with characters you don't really know, that it has no introduction of, and it goes straight to it, and then it ends kind of ambiguously. I thought it was fabulous. But the first time I watched it, it was a bit jarring. It's like he just made one episode from his TV show and it's the middle of a trilogy.
Farrell's hair is amazing.
It is. The suits are fantastic. The soundtrack.
This is Farrell when he wasn't very good, being quite good.
Yeah. This is an action scene set to Phil Collins.
Oh God!
Good God! Is there anything better? No.
I mean, I've decided against it now.
We're going to do 2 minutes of TV. I'm going to say Tom checked out Wednesday and didn't like it, even though everyone else in the world did.
I'm so surprised that people are so warm to it. The thing is, right, I didn't hate Wednesday at all. I thought it was fine, but I just thought it was fine. They have done an incredible job of recasting the Addams family. Like Wednesday, Jenna Ortega is great. She is so good as Wednesday.
But the story's a bit meh.
The story's a bit meh, but like you've got Luis Guzman as Gomez and Catherine Zeta-Jones. No, wrong. Go and check out. You are trolling me, Mark.
I watched
I watched the first episode of Wednesday. We all really enjoyed it. I watched the second episode and I was just drifting away from whatever was going on.
It's like episode 1 and episode 4 are good TV. And the rest of it is just like, okay.
It doesn't, it's like padding.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But people saying that it is like one of their favorite shows of the year, all I can say is like,
go watch Andor.
Just Severance, or just like leave your house for God's sake.
So I'm going to say about Echo 3, which is on Apple with Luke Evans, that it's enjoyable KNR kidnap and rescue drama, a little bit like that one with Russell Crowe a while back. It's not that much different from the Unit and SEAL Team, other than the fact that it's got the KNR aspect to it. It does feel like coming from Mark Bowl, who he penned a lot of Catherine Bigelow's sort of politically themed works. It's trying to get some depth out of the backdrop, which is Columbia, but I don't know whether it needs it. It feels like it's padding on what most people will want to see is like a decent kind of rescue.
I like Luke Evans though. He's
cool. He's good in it. Anyway, we'll have to see how
Luke Evans. Check out No One Lives. Check out No One Lives.
Awesome. Yeah, he was good in that. Yes, awesome. You recommended that.
He was good in High Rise as well, but he was about the only thing that was good in High Rise.
I'm gonna say that The English is one of my favorite shows of the year, and I'm going to say that if you haven't seen any Hugo Blick, go out and watch this Western with Emily Blunt. Use the fact that it stars Emily Blunt to get you through the fact that you're watching this Western by someone you don't even know, and come to the end of it and realize it's 6 episodes of fantastic telly, and you should immediately go and find Hugo Blick's Shadowline, which is even better. It is difficult. I've got the Blu-ray over here. I might run a competition for that, and should have done. But yeah,
from the AV perspective, because we are that kind of podcast.
No, I did it in 4K on BBC, but
it's UHD on BBC.
It is, yes.
Unbelievable. What are they doing?
I don't know. I don't like the BBC. But anyway, Star Wars Andor.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even get me. Star Wars Andor. Fantastic.
Brilliant. But is it Star Wars?
Yes.
It's just great Star Wars.
May watch, may not watch.
There is a silly droid in it, therefore it is definitely Star Wars.
It's got to be some of the best TV if Mark's saying he's not going to watch it.
Boy, oh boy.
No, I believe I said I may watch it.
That's close enough.
There we go.
I'm going to recommend we all watch The English.
I'm up for that.
All right.
Yeah, I will. I'm up for that. That sounds good.
I watch one episode.
And for those who haven't seen Shadowline, I'm going to recommend seeing as we have an extra long period over Christmas. You should hunt down Shadowline. And if you don't have it, I'll lend you the Blu-ray, which is on my shoulder somewhere.
Kaz is going to lend several hundred people the Blu-ray. That's what could go wrong?
Just people on the actual podcast. I'm not lending anyone else.
Oh, I thought you meant viewers of the podcast. If you're watching the podcast or listening to the podcast, Kaz will lend you the Shadowline on Blu-ray.
He'll send it to me, but I'll just send it out to any one of you buggers who wants
it. We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that, Mr. Posty.
All you have to do is sign up to be a tier 3 patron on Patreon, and it's only 50, 60 quid a month. It's easy, it's
like easy 50 a day. Credit cards will do. So Mark recommended The Witch Part 1 last time. Korean film.
Yes.
He's just reviewed Witch Part 2, and we all watched The Witch, and I think the consensus is very good, Mark. Nice recommendation.
Yes, it was.
It was quite good.
It's bonkers. Blood and guts everywhere. Bonkers.
It's a bit Malignant, it's a bit X-Men, it's a bit Hannah, it's very Korean, and it's too long with too much exposition, but it has some bonkers bits in it.
It has a scene
blood and guts
on a train where 2 of the characters are just eating boiled eggs and loving it. Recommend.
It's like they've never had a boiled egg before. They're like,
they friggin' love those boiled eggs. They are well into those boiled eggs. And watching that, I thought, I want to eat a boiled egg on a train.
No, it made me want to heave. I mean, that egg, it was in one. I mean, these are the smallest little schoolgirls you've ever seen. Yeah. And these eggs are just one.
It's like a couple of eggs off Cool Hand Luke. Like
escaped and got boiled eggs. Yes, that was impressive work.
But getting back to it, The Witch, pretty good.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Recommended.
Yeah,
and we're all probably going to watch
great.
Witch Part 2, no doubt. The podcast competition tied into Disney's Strange World. We're giving away a copy of Disney's Luca on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. 4K people.
He lives down the hall, doesn't he?
To win this competition, all you have to do is use the following question to select the correct answer on the competition page. Set on the Italian Riviera. The question is, where is Luca set?
Oh,
And just going to say, if the answer's Italy, that's the one you tick.
Luca Guadagnino. I
Suzanne Vega will
learned how
know.
to say it. I'm going to friggin' say it.
Say it loads.
Luca Guadagnino.
We have, I think, a special guest star next one. So I'm not gonna jinx it, but I'm hoping the next podcast on the 5th of December. Stay tuned. Gonna have a special guest star, and that'll be a good way to finish out the year before the Christmas podcast and next year's movies. Do let us know if there's anything we haven't covered that you think we should check out. That's it for AV Forums podcast. My thanks to both the hardware and the movies team. Simon Crust.
boiled eggs for everyone.
Mark Costello.
Bye.
And Davies.
I was never here. I did not say this.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we publish our live streams, product reviews, and more. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and bookmark avforums.com for the latest reviews, news, and videos. Plus, why not leave us a 5-star rating on whichever service you use if they allow it, but only if you enjoyed the show.
Don't forget the merch.
I'm Kaz Harlow. Thank you for watching and listening, and join us for the next podcast on the 5th of December.
Bye.